Hello everybody and welcome to Data Engineering Stuff, your highly opinionated data engineering channel. Imagine you had the idea of creating a new data platform. So you have your old platform and you figured out that there are things that you need to optimize, there are things that you did wrong the last time, but most of the time just the business requirements have changed and you need to create a new platform. You can see also my video about that, but it's common sense that sometimes you need to renew your technologies used, and so you did. You created a totally new data platform. You gave all the data source the possibility to ingest data to your new platform. Imagine that this here is the old platform and this is the new one, and now you are at the point where you say, okay, my new platform is ready. I'm ready to like ignite the engines, get everything into production, and yes, you have this fancy new built data platform, but you don't know how to get things started now. And your major problem at that point is that you need to know which data products you need to migrate and in which order you need to migrate them. So there could be hundreds of data products. I had a customer who had I don't know, it was an Excel sheet full of data products he has in place. There were reports, dashboards, there were machine learning models, there were data delivery jobs to third-party companies. There were everything involved you can imagine, totally different things, totally different needs, totally different use cases, totally different requirements in case of data privacy, in case of robustness, whatever. So it was really difficult to say what you need to migrate first. So here's what we did at the customer side, and yes, I highly recommend that. Perhaps it's not always applicable, but it's just I would say some frame or recommendation in which you can operate. So every data product you can give two values. One is the value itself, so that means how business critical is that system. So imagine the following question: what happens if that system fails? So like you lose all the data regarding this data product, the data product is not available anymore from now from now, and what will happen? Will there be like contracts which are not fulfilled by your company, so get penalties for that? Or is it just like three internal stakeholders somewhere in some department say, yes, so please fix it, but it's not that important. So there's a huge range between business critical to really not that important. Okay, that's the axis on the left, our y-axis. Now on the x-axis is the risk. So not every data product has the same complexity. Some data products, don't know, they just query one big table and they're doing just some groups, buys and aggregations and do like a dashboard. A really simple thing. They're like, how many people bought stuff from our online shop yesterday? And yes, it's not that complicated from a kind of migration perspective. Perhaps it's also easy to compare the new data product or the migrated product to the old results. Like, for example, you get data in every day. You could easily compare your data today with the data from yesterday and can make some senseful judgments whether the data should be correct or not. But there are perhaps more critical things. Perhaps your company is developing an Android or iOS app which is highly related on which highly relies on a machine learning model you're developing. And that perhaps it's not that easy to predict. It's perhaps an unsupervised system, so there is not a real that's correct, that's not correct. And on the other hand, it's really business critical, because if that fails, perhaps the app is the one source of income for your company. So there would be the whole business at risk if you really fail with the migration of that data product. So you have two axes, and you can just put every data product anywhere here. You can do that with as many of you as you want. Perhaps sometimes I made the experience that it's better to group things together, like reports running on the same data, and like just drilling things down or not, or something like that. They are just the same data in different flavors. So sometimes you can group them, like don't know, the Q1 sales reports or something like that. And you don't have to list everyone because they would be at the same place exactly. So okay, after you did that, perhaps you asked the business, because you have perhaps really many data products, and it's not that easy to judge which are have a high value or the low value, and even the risk is perhaps not that easy to judge. So what do? You first start with the lighthouse project. You take the ones with the highest value, so the biggest business impact and the lowest risk. Why do you do that? This whole migration is a project, and every project needs some quick wins. So you get the marketing going, the communication going for your project. So your boss can say, yes, we might write it that, and everyone says, yeah, great, wonderful that you did that. If you start like here, then they said, okay, you just don't know, migrated the facility management report. We were just, don't know, two persons in a year click on. Well, congrats for that. So you won't want that for a starting point. You want to first get the management buy-in. You want to have the marketing for your project. You want to say, yes, we did that, and you have some quick wins for your migration. The new data platform is running on important things, but not on risky things. So perhaps that are things that are even easily to fix. So if you see like the sales report is broken, you could easily fix it. It's not difficult. Yes, it's not your fancy AI machine learning model, but perhaps needs 10 hours to train. It's something you could easily fix and run. So after you did that, so like the low-hanging fruits are done, then you get from here to here. You get to the learning curve things. That's like a more kind of a preparation step to get to the critical systems. Why do I say that are the learning curve things? Because they don't have that business value. They are not that well known in the company, but you have other data sources. Perhaps there's some streaming stuff in there. There's perhaps another kind of queries in there. So you have more data products on your platform. So you have perhaps some more interaction between them. So you learn from that. You see how your data platform works in the reality, and not just in your mind and in your architecture. And that is the preparation to go to the critical systems. That's the most critical part, of course. That is your machine learning model. That is something which is really difficult to understand, difficult to troubleshoot, and of course it also has a high business value. So if you fail here, you got a problem. So that's why you do the lighthouse project first, then the learning curve things, and then you get to the critical systems. You won't start with the critical systems, because you can really get into trouble. Perhaps you could also like save the day, but it's on your own risk, I would say. So After you did the critical systems, I would say your mission is nearly done, but you have to keep in mind that the technical depth. So we are down here, and you see we are in the long-term area. So what do we do now? We have migrated everything that really is relevant, and now we have some weird old data products that are really complicated built, like perhaps some ancient technology that no one really understands. They are not that important perhaps, because otherwise it would be some kind of critical system. But they are really, really risky to migrate, because it's the most horrible legacy stuff you can imagine. Like it has 12 data sources and none of them are known well. There are multiple jobs which are perhaps only coupled by time, and you don't know really the dependencies. Whatever it is not that easy to migrate. So you should run these projects, these migrations in a long-term fashion. Why do I say that in long term? Because no one will give you the time to work full time on such technical depth stuff. The only other thing I would say is that perhaps someone wants to really remove the old data platform. So then they say, okay, do this technical depth stuff additionally, so you can get rid of the old data platform, because it's costly to maintain two data platforms at the time. But perhaps the data platform scale and cost with the amount of data products running on it. So perhaps the technical depths are not that expensive in case of regarding money, but only regarding time, which of course also is money, but it's not always seen by the management like that. So what do? You always take chances to remove technical debt. So whenever you see something which has to do with this technical debt, like you're optimizing something or you want to remove some part of the old data platform, you take a look at it, you see where it's related to this technical debt stuff, and you remove that, or you migrate that part on this occasion. So you take like opportunities. You don't see that as a project you're currently running. It's just something that you do while you do other stuff, ideally. Of course, sometimes you need like focus phases. So you see, okay, now there's the complicated part. I need, I don't know, 3 weeks full-time working on that, and then it's done. But your usual approach should always be, you have your regular projects, your usual product work, and if you see something where you can resolve some technical debt, you take the chance. And so you lower the technical debt from time to time, over time. And so in the long term, the technical debt fades away. Perhaps, as I said, with perhaps focus phase, where you really focus on some specific legacy data product. And after a while, you will have migrated even the technical debt product, data products, and you can get rid of the old data platform, and you keep running the new one. And then after some years, as you know, you will have to do the same again, because the new one will get the old one, and yes, it's like the usual circle we are working in. So hopefully that helped you with your decisions in your migration project. And I would like to hear from you. So were you in such a situation before? Did you have to decide which data products need to be migrated first? And how did you decide that? Or perhaps you took another approach. Perhaps you said critical systems. We first focused on the critical systems and it went really well. So perhaps I'm wrong. Just tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.